It's amazing how much lore, speculation, and misinformation exists about the equipment used by a band that was only around for 7 years. It would seem simple enough to find information on Nirvana's gear since there is a relatively small pool of instruments to begin with, but if you've ever tried looking into the Fender Jag-Stang, then you know firsthand that this is not the case. There is an overwhelming amount of conflicting information about the guitar that Kurt Cobain custom designed. And worst of all, it seems like the prime subject for people to project their own feelings onto, and then pretend they are somehow speaking on Kurt's behalf. It's a super strange phenomenon that Kurt would hate this mentality. To think you know enough about a person you have never met and speak on their behalf is honestly wild to me. Reading lyrics and interviews does not make you the authority of how someone you've never met would feel about frankly anything. Unless, of course, you are referencing an exact quote from that person about that specific subject. And spoiler alert, every quote that we have from Kurt regarding his Jag-Stang is positive. I've just completed a round of mods to my 2021 Fender Jag-Stang to make it as close as possible to Kurt's Jag-Stang as he played it on stage. With going back into this rabbit hole to complete my guitar, I feel compelled to debunk some myths by sharing what are now known facts about the original Jag-Stang. Facts that can all be cited and sourced. Some of this correct information has been around since the 90s. Others are relatively new discoveries. I cannot proceed further without giving credit where credit is due. Two people put in a huge amount of work into investigating the design process of this guitar and even interviewing people who were actually involved in the creation of it. There is an offsetguitars.com message board thread called Jag-Stang Prototype Reverse Engineering, where users Amon7L and Acrylic Superman went on a Herculean level journey of finding the truth behind this guitar. They uncovered so much invaluable information that we would not have without their efforts. So Amon and Acrylic, this is for you guys. It is an honor to present the information that you worked so hard to find, and us nerds all appreciate and celebrate your efforts. Huge shout out and thank you to Nirvana guitar tech Ernie Bailey, someone who I'm honored to call my friend. I recently asked Ernie what his memories are of Kurt's Jag-Stang, and he shared some amazing insight that will be included in this video that really changes the narrative on some aspects of this guitar. I do not take your time, trust, and patience for granted, Ernie. Thank you so much. Last but not least, my source in regards to interview quotes and play stats are all courtesy of livenirvana.com, the greatest website in the world and the absolute best resource for correct information about the band. Myth 1. Kurt hated the Jag-Stang. Starting off with the tried and true classic. With the information that is now available to us 24/7 at our fingertips thanks to the mini computers we all have in our pockets, I am amazed that in 2026 there are people out there that are actually still saying this. But don't take my word for it. Take Kurt's. We have 3 quotes that come directly from him which give us great insight into his feelings on the Jag-Stang. Let's go through all of them in chronological order. They all happened in a short span of time, but pay attention to how the tone changes through each one. Kurt is first seen using the Jag-Stang on December 1st, 1993 in Birmingham, Alabama. It then goes on to be used on December 2nd, 3rd, 5th, and 6th. After this string of shows, Nirvana was then interviewed in Minneapolis, Minnesota on December 10th by Kurt Loiter for MTV.
Kurt, are you getting custom guitars from Fender?
Yeah, I've designed a guitar.
What are the special features of it?
Well, it's a
really
Polaroid
hard
picture.
to play.
I took a Polaroid picture of a Mustang and a Polaroid picture of a Jaguar, and then I cut them in half and glued them together and told them to build that, and it's called the Jag-Stang.
It
looks real cool.
It does look cool.
I don't know if it's going to be available.
Well, as long as you have one, I think that's the point of those things, right? Just get your guitar. Cool.
I still don't really like it as much as the Mustangs did.
You play that.
I need to do. I have to have something.
It looks cool. Because Lars Ulrich started like...
So 9 days into the Jag-Stang being introduced live, Dave Grohl and Pat Smear are here telling us that they think it looks cool, while Kurt says, I still don't like it as much as the Mustangs though. It needs to have something else done. Here's some really important context that I want to add in at this point. When I asked Ernie what his memories are regarding the Jag-Stang, he shared the following. Before the tour started, Ernie said he switched out the bridge to be a Godot ABR1 2-nomatic, locked down the tremolo, changed the bridge pickup, and did a set setup to Kurt's liking on it, and Kurt seemed to be happy with it then. But after this initial setup, Kurt went back to Ernie 2 months later, saying he wasn't fully jiving with it, and asked if there was anything else that could be done with it. Ernie then asked Kurt, why did you have them install the switches and the bridge you said you hated in a magazine interview? And where are the arm and stomach contours? To which Kurt responded, I don't know what I was thinking. They are going to build me another one. Would you be willing to work with Mart Wittenberg at Fender to redesign it? You know me better than I know myself. To throw my own speculation, I think this is the point where this December 10th interview happens, where we see Kurt saying he felt like something still needed to be done to it. Our next quote comes from the infamous Nardwuar backstage interview on January 4th, 1994, just under a month after the previous MTV interview. Notice the change of tone in Kurt's voice right here.
You really custom design a guitar, your own special little model?
Yeah.
How many models were there, and can I buy one?
I don't know. I don't know if it's gone into production yet. I don't know if it'll be available for the public. It's up to them to decide. Well, so what I did is I took a picture of a Mustang, a Polaroid picture of a Mustang and a picture of a Jaguar, and then cut them in half and glued them together and told them to build that. So that's what it is. It's the Jag-Stang.
Okay, so I'm not a body language expert by any means, but that smile and that excited nod doesn't seem like Kurt is reacting to being asked about something he absolutely hates. It's worthy to note that this early on, he's even commenting on the prospect of it being available to the public, saying that it's not up to him to decide, but it's actually up to Fender. So we can speculate here that maybe some work was done to it between December 10th and January 4th that Kurt really liked, or perhaps things just started to click as he played it more. This excitement carries over and reaches a new level when we get to the final quote that we have from Kurt himself regarding his custom guitar. When speaking with Fender Frontline magazine on February 10th, 1994, Kurt had this to say about the Jag-Stang. Ever since I started playing, I've always liked certain things about certain guitars, but could never find the perfect mix of everything I was looking for. The Jag-Stang is the closest thing I know, and I like the idea of having a quality instrument on the market with no preconceived notions attached. In a way, it's perfect for me to attach my name to the Jag-Stang, in that I'm the anti-guitar hero. I can barely play the things myself. After this Fender Frontline interview, Kurt goes on to play the Jag-Stang on February 12th, 14th, 21st, 22nd, 24th, 25th, and 27th. Myth 2. Kurt only used the Jag-Stang for one song at one show. Another outdated classic that people are still saying for some reason. Just completely incorrect, and we've already debunked it by listing off show days that the Jag-Stang was used at, but let's dive a little deeper. These are Kurt's 4 main in utero tour guitars, or his in utero stangs as I like to refer to them. Nothing comes close to Skystang 1's usage in first place, but the Jag-Stang is only one show off from being the second most played Stang on the tour. It was used twice the amount of shows as Skystang 2, but you never hear anyone say Kurt Cobain hated Skystang 2 because he rarely used it live. That would be ridiculous, but for reasons I can't explain, people seem to have no problem using this exact same logic on the Jag-Stang. Another thing to consider, in late 1993, Kurt Cobain was at a point in his career where he could play any guitar he wanted on stage. So it speaks volumes that he chose to use the Jag-Stang as much as he did. I've seen some people try to say Kurt hated the Jag-Stang because he preferred junk, pawn shop guitars he could get for cheap, not fancy custom shop stuff. That is honestly laughable. Yes, that is true for Kurt Cobain in 1989 on the Bleach tours, but absolutely not true of Kurt Cobain in 1993 on the In Utero tour. In 1993, he ordered 10 custom shop Mustangs for this tour, paid $5,000 for his Martin D18E, and was working closely with the Fender Custom Shop on this custom guitar. Once the resources were available, Kurt was openly using very nice gear. For some of the Jag-Stang shows, it was only used for a few songs here and there, but when we get to February 1994 in Europe, I dare to say it was looking like it was about to become a main guitar. If Orange Stang can be considered the #1 alternate on the North American leg of the In Utero tour, then by that same standard, based on usage, the Jag-Stang would be considered the main alternate on the European leg. There are shows where he used it for almost the entire set. When he has his 3 Mustangs side stage ready to go and decides to use the Jag-Stang to this extent, it's just all the more reason to believe he didn't hate it. Myth 3. Fender messed up the design. Lately, I've been having followers send me content of people trying to say that Fender messed up the design and that the guitar is super ugly, not because of Kurt, but because Fender dropped the ball. The argument that is presented here is that this sketch looks completely different to the final result. So therefore, case closed, right? Fender completely discarded Kurt's vision and made this very ugly guitar behind his back. I'm tired. Here's the real story. Yes, this was Kurt's initial sketch of the Jag-Stang, the result of that famous story of him cutting a Polaroid picture of a Jaguar and a Mustang in half and sticking them together. But here's the part that people seem to like to leave out. This was only one of many sketches that Kurt made. He was clearly workshopping different ideas and not married to any of them while they were on paper. If anything, as they go along, they start to look more and more like the result we know. Ernie shared with me that while Kurt did send sketches over to Fender during the initial talks, ultimately Fender said to Kurt, "Please send us a cardboard cutout of the body shape you want." And that is exactly what Kurt did. He freehand drew and cut this, sent it to Fender, and bam, the end result is exact to the cutout that Fender received from Kurt himself. So no one dropped the ball on the body shape. It's totally fair game if you yourself personally don't like it. I totally understand, it's a very unconventional shape. But to justify not liking it by saying it's because Fender messed up on the design, that's just not true. They faithfully built the shape that Kurt sent to them. Kurt then took that shape and played it at all the shows that we've listed. Myth 4. Fender messed up by not adding contours. We're now getting into the territory of the more recent discoveries thanks to the detectives over at OffsetGuitars.com. User Acrylic Superman interviewed Larry Brooks, the renowned Fender custom shop master builder who built Kurt's Jag-Stang. According to the information shared by Larry himself, it seems that Kurt specifically requested no contours. But if we refer back to the conversation that Kurt had with Ernie, where Ernie asked him why are there no contours on the body, Kurt did answer, "I don't know what I was thinking. Can you work with them to redesign the next one?" So for all we know, this could have been a miscommunication. Larry over at Fender was told no contours, so he did as he was told. And then Kurt receives the guitar and is now thinking he wants to have that changed for the next one. So this one kind of lives in a gray area, but it's still worth bringing up and shedding some light on. Myth 5. Kurt's Jag-Stang was shipped out with a DiMarzio Humbucker. All of Kurt's In Utero Tour Mustangs got a full-size Seymour Duncan JB, so the train of thought of thinking that the Jag-Stang got the same treatment is completely understandable. The accepted story for years has been that the guitar was sent out by Fender to Kurt with a DiMarzio Humbucker, that then got switched out to a Seymour Duncan JB for the tour. The first half of this is not true, and the second half gets a little complicated. Let me explain. Larry Brooks provided invaluable insight on the pickup the Jag-Stang was shipped out with. According to him, the Jag-Stang had a custom-made Seymour Duncan 59 that was made by Mr. Seymour Duncan himself. The unique aspect of the pickup being that it was not wax potted, but rather lacquer dipped, like an old Fender single coil. It also had the Seymour Duncan logo on it, another unique feature as the standard 59s have no logo. The smoking gun for this photo that was shared by Larry himself. This is him holding the completed Jag-Stang before it was sent out to Kurt. This is how Kurt received it. It still has the stock Mustang bridge, and we can just barely make out the Seymour Duncan logo. To me, it would make perfect sense that initially Kurt would specifically request a 59 over a 4th JB. While the JB seems to be the obvious preference at this point in time, the Nevermind era just 1 and 2 years prior featured many guitars that were equipped with the Seymour Duncan 59. The most famous example is the Vandalism Strat having a 59N in the bridge position. The Tom Strat also had a 59N in the bridge during the Nevermind sessions at Sound City. And while the exact humbucker in the K Strat is still a mystery, the 59 is a likely contender. This is a pickup that Kurt was familiar with and obviously liked, so it's really no surprise that he would have maybe wanted to differentiate his Jag-Stang with this pickup while his Mustangs all had the darker sounding JBs. But the pickup story doesn't end here. Remember, upon receiving the guitar, Ernie did a bunch of work to it, including changing out the bridge pickup. Here's what Ernie shared with me. The Duncan 59 it was shipped to him with was changed out before the tour began, either in Seattle or at the tour rehearsals. It's possible it went back in at some point, but I recall a white DiMarzio from Pat's Blue Strat and a Duncan JB, possibly F-Space, were in there at some point. I believe there was another Jag-Stang pickup change during the week in New York City for Unplugged. Turns out the Jag-Stang went through multiple pickup changes, and at this point in time we can't definitively say which pickup it had at which point in the tour. Changing out the humbucker in a guitar has the potential to completely change its tonal character. Remember that shift in tone between the December 10th and January 4th interviews? It's not crazy to think that one of these pickup changes happened in that time range, and that Kurt was happier with the guitar because of it. We don't have many high-quality soundboard audio samples of the Jag-Stang to pick from, but we do have enough to pit its cleans against a JB Mustang, and the results might surprise you. The Jag-Stang has more definition in the highs and sounds spunkier, for lack of a better term, while Sky-Stang is darker and has more body in the low mids. Both of these guitars are being played through the same rig on the same night, and the resulting audio that we have for both is of the same quality. This is as close as we're ever going to get to a head-to-head tone comparison of these two guitars while they were in Kurt's hands. Could the custom-made Duncan 59 have been put back in the Jag-Stang at this point? To me, this sounds like the classic contrast between a JB and a 59. Or maybe an angled F-spaced JB is different enough to cause this difference in the high end? I can't say for certain, we're in speculation territory right now. Either way, while the three in utero Mustang brothers arguably sound pretty similar, the Jag-Stang continues to stick out as the oddball cousin, with not only its unique shape, but its unique sound. Myth 6. Kurt's Jag-Stang is sonic blue. With Kurt's Sky-Stangs being sonic blue and the later production models of the Jag-Stang being sonic blue, it's understandable to assume that Kurt's Jag-Stang would have also been sonic blue. In reality, it was actually Daphne blue. With the help of my amazing guitar tech Jeff, we were able to pin down which exact shade of sonic blue Sky-Stang 1 is using the high resolution close-up photos I took of the guitar while I was documenting it. Keeping that in mind, what officially debunked that Kurt's Jag-Stang is the same shade of sonic blue is video footage from two specific shows. From February 27th, 1994, Nirvana's second to last show, we have this pro shot footage where we have moments of Kurt in the same position and same angle on stage using both Sky-Stang 1 and the Jag-Stang. Side by side, we can see that these are not the same color, but what really seals the deal is footage from December 2nd, 1993. During Lithium, Kurt breaks a string. Mid-song, guitar tech John Duncan walks out and helps Kurt with a quick guitar switch, but for a few very quick seconds, and it's really easy to miss. We get a look at the backs of both of these guitars side by side, and they are noticeably different colors. Same show, same stage lights, both guitars next to each other. Just to add a cherry on top to this one, in the Offset Guitars forum, it is stated that they asked Larry Brooks specifically about the color, and he confirmed that it is indeed Daphne blue, not sonic blue. I hope you enjoyed learning the truth about Kurt Cobain's most misunderstood guitar. Don't let anyone tell you that he hated it and only used it for one song at one show. You are now equipped with the facts. As previously mentioned, I just finished a round of mods to my 2021 Jag-Stang to make it as close as possible to Kurt's. It's looking, feeling, and sounding really amazing. You've been hearing it in the background of this video, but you'll also be hearing it soon more upfront in all its glory in an upcoming video, so stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for watching, and an extra special shout out to my Patreon supporters. Be sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Nirvana Guitars. Subscribe right here on YouTube for more weekly Nirvana videos like this, and I'll see you in the next one.